Sorry if it's a little noisy in this video. I'm running a machine in the other room and it makes a lot of noise, but got a wall here so it shouldn't be a big deal. Today we're going to paint the snowboard. It's brand new, still in the wrapping here. And I'm going to go through the process of prepping it in this video and then actually painting it probably in the next one. Or maybe I'll try and get all the base coat on it and everything like that in this video, and then do some airbrush work on it in a subsequent one. But anyway, to start off with, obviously after I unwrap it, I've got to do just like anything else I'm painting. I'm going to scuff it down. I'm going to just use probably a red Scotch-Brite for this. Bear in mind that different colors of Scotch-Brite have different grits, so I'm going to go with the red one. And then I'm going to put the sealer on it, you know, the usual 3 or 4 coats of that. If there was anything, like any scratches, anything wrong with it, I'd fill those before putting the sealer on, and then I'd apply primer. But this is obviously brand new, it's in perfect condition, so I don't need to do any of that. I'm just going to throw on a few coats of sealer and then go straight to my base color coat. So that's about all I'm going to say for now, and let's get started. One other thing, don't forget you've got binding holes, obviously threaded holes for your bindings on a snowboard. And I'm sure if you're doing skis or something like that, they've got holes for all the bindings on those as well. So you're going to want to mask those off. You don't want to get a bunch of paint in them. I'm not worried about it for when I'm scuffing them, but in order to mask up these holes and avoid getting a buildup in there, I'm just going to roll up some masking tape, ball it up and jam it in there. And then when I'm done clear coating, I'll lightly cut around it with a razor blade to separate that clear coat and pull them out, and we should be good. So let's get started with the scuffing. Remember, when you're sanding, don't use your fingers because you can leave grooves and stuff in your surface and it won't be as flat or as shiny or as nice. So use either a block or your palm. Okay? It's actually better to use a block, especially on a flat surface like this. So I'm going to pull out a sanding block. This one's actually already got paper on it, but since I'm using a scuff pad, I'm just going to put it on top and sand with the block. Okay? Oh hey, I'm too lazy to move my camera again, so I'll just say this from this awkward position. Here I've got a curved surface. If you're going to do a curved surface, there are a few different ways. Obviously you can use your palm. You can use a thick piece of foam, not styrofoam, but like high density foam, like cushion foam. That works really well for stuff like this. Or because this is a fairly light curve, all I'm going to do is switch to a smaller sanding block and use it sideways. Okay, so I'm doing the smaller edge of it and I'm just going to run the curve that way. That's about it. Tape out once that's all scuffed down, and tape up anything that you don't want painted, because it's either going to have paint on it or it's going to have tape on it. Masked off that I don't want to get paint on. There's masking tape in all of the threaded holes, and I've taped off all of the edges so that they don't get paint on them, so that they stay sharp and everything. The side edges, all of that stuff. So now the next step is to clean it and use wax and grease remover. That's what I'm going to use to clean it. If you don't have wax and grease remover, something like butane will work fine. If you don't have that, I guess you can go with Windex. That's still a degreaser. It's not ideal, but it should work. I know a lot of people are probably doing this with spray cans. They don't have wax and grease remover. They don't have paint guns. So there you go, Windex, and just make sure that you clean off all the grease and wax that's on your hands. You know, if you touch the screen of your iPhone, you always leave a mark with your finger. That's the kind of stuff that you don't want on your board when you're going to paint it. Paint won't stick properly to that. It'll pull away. It'll do what's called like fish eyeing and stuff like that, and it just won't react well. So make sure you clean it before you paint it. So I got my wax and grease remover here, and I'm just going to use a clean microfiber cloth. I don't know why I felt this need to say clean. I think everybody does that. I'm going to use a microfiber cloth. I don't think anyone's expecting it to be dirty, especially not if I'm cleaning something with it. Alright, so now this has had time to dry and everything. It's time to get to the part that we've all been waiting for, which is the actual painting. So I've got some dark sealer in my gun, and like I said, I'm going to spray out 3 or 4 coats of this stuff until I get total coverage and I'm happy with it. This is water-based, so I'm just going to dry it with a heat gun in between coats, and really this should only take like 10 or 15 minutes the way I'm doing it. If you're using solvent-based paints, you're going to want to give them time to flash in between, so it'll probably be, you'd only need 2 coats of that, maybe 20 minutes, something along those lines. So let's get going. Getting dust in your paint and ending up with a mess, you want to make sure that you take off the dust between coats. Paint tends to overspray. That overspray basically turns into dust, and that'll get stuck in your paint job and it won't look as smooth when you finish. So what you want to do is just get yourself a tack rag. Use a clean section of the tack rag. These things are pretty big and they're folded into small squares, so you can see this one's pretty dirty in some areas. But I've got a clean section right here, and I'm just going to use that. Oop, knocked out some of my tape, gotta be careful. Just going to use that, go over the whole thing. Fairly rough, and as you can see now there's a little, well, you might not be able to see it from there, but there's a little bit of black on here now. That's what I'm looking for. I'm trying to take off all of that excess overspray and all of the dust so that my paint stays as smooth as possible. So I'm going to dry this and then put on, by the looks of it, 1 more coat, which I will do in the opposite direction in order to get the most even coverage that I can. And then we'll be back with the color coat. Alright, so now it's time for my color coat. This is going to be done the exact same way as the sealer. If your sealer goes on and it looks not quite smooth, most sealers are sandable, just like most primers are sandable. So check before you go ahead and do that. But if it is sandable, you can go scuff it down after, make sure it's all nice and smooth, and then you can put your color coat right over top of that. So that's what I've done. I wasn't 100% happy with the sealer, so when I had it finished, I just went over it with the Scotch pad again, a gray one this time, because it's a little bit smoother than the red. And now I'm going to put the color on it. This board is for the same guy who ordered the helmet from me, the first helmet paint job that I had there, how to paint a helmet, the blue one. So now we're doing the board to match. I'm going to start off with my pearl blue, and then that's probably going to be about it for this video, and then in the next one we'll start adding some effects and airbrushing and some other cool stuff. So let's get to it. here, and I'll show you what we end up with for the blue, and then we'll move on in the next video. Alright, so here it is. We have our snowboard all base coated in pearl blue. Pretty nice color. And yeah, next time I will start putting on some details. The guy wants some electrical storm effect on the ends, and he wants kind of a ghosted no fear across the middle. That no fear is actually pretty popular lately. And we're going to do a couple of stripes at an angle, just for the hell of it. So yeah, see you next time. Thanks for watching.